Hey, what's up, vinyl community? This is Andy. Let me just pause or mute the soccer here. Uh, all right. Okay. Back. So last time I just showed you guys a quick video of Khan, my cat. I went to show some records finally. Although my cat's coming over, he's gonna jump up here. I purchased a lot of records since my last update. A lot of lots, some of which I'm selling. And some of which I've already sold. The first thing is I bought a whole bunch of lots from this woman in Connecticut, like maybe 50 to 60 records overall, most of which I'm not keeping at all. Get out of here, Con. But a handful I am, maybe 10 records I'm going to keep. This is one I was on the fence about, but I have it on. It sounds pretty badass. I never heard of this before, but this was a first pressing of Renee Thomas Quintet on Jazzland, Guitar Grooves, Jazzland 27. I just put it on. It's sounding really great. J.R. Monteros on sax, on tenor sax, Albert Heath on the drums, Renee Thomas on guitar, of course. He's the leader of this date. So that's playing. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but that's pretty cool. Had no idea. Also from that lot, that set of lots, I ended up with two of these, and I've put one for sale. If anybody's interested in this record, let me know. I'm sure it hasn't sold yet from the record shop. We can make a trade or something. Doug Watkins Solnick with Yusuf Lateef. So there were two of these in two separate lots I ordered from this woman. Both times I was hoping it was the original Purple Prestige or Purple New Jazz. Both times it was the Blue Trident. So these are second pressings, mono still, sound great, and actually maybe even better sounding than what the New Jazz would have been, depending on if they had used the recycled vinyl at that point. But this has Watkins, Lateef, Lex Humphreys on drums. I think it's the first song on the first side is amazing, Andre's Bag. I can't remember if it's that one or one guy. There's one that has this like bass melody or cello melody, I guess, that is really wonderful, and then the flute just kind of comes in to add flavor, kind of like sparsely throughout the song. So that's a good record. Give that a listen. Doug Watkins. Okay, and then I wanted to show. Made a trade with Tom EFXP. I sent him. I ended up getting. I had a second pressing New York label mono Point of Departure, and I ended up getting a hold of a first pressing stereo copy of that record. So I figured I'd let the mono go. Since I had an earlier pressing, and my reading is that my understanding from the internet is that Blue Notes of that era, the monos are fold downs. So if you want to get the same effect as a mono, you can just play it in mono. And I have mono cartridges, and I have the ability, even with my stereo cartridge, to just with a button switch to mono. So I don't worry too much about collecting those if I have a stereo copy available to me. But so anyway, I sent Tom that, and he sent me this, which had been on my want list for a while. Heavy Sounds, Elvin Jones and Richard Davis. I think that's the first pressing because it's later released ABC Impulse, but either way, it sounds cool. And it's, of course, got, you can kind of see it there on the gatefold. I think it's the only recorded example of Elvin Jones on guitar. So yeah, that was cool to get, and I hope Tom is enjoying. I think he is, from what I saw on Instagram, that copy of Point of Departure. Okay, I also bought a huge, like a 5 record Art Blakey lot. So the star for me from this lot is this, a first pressing of Indestructible. Cover is a little beat up. but it's got Wayne Shorter on there, Curtis Fuller, Lee Morgan. This has got, for me, probably my favorite Jazz Messengers lineup. And it's a first pressing. This was released after the sale to Liberty, from what I understand, in '66. So there's no such thing as one with an ear, from what I've read, but New York labels. This is a stereo copy of this record. Again, I think if a mono exists, it's just a fold down. Again, I'm not an expert, but I read this, so that's what I think. Either way, it sounds great. I think the other Blakey records I got from that guy, let's see, Buhane's Delight, Jazz Corner of the World Volume 1 and 2, Like Someone in Love. Yeah. Jazz Corner of the World Volume 1 was way overgraded, so I'm going to return that to him once we figure out what the right rebate would be. And Buhane's Delight, I can't say that. He claimed as a first pressing, it's actually a 66 pressing. So I got to go back and forth with this guy and try to figure out what's the right rebate and what should I send back. I'd kind of like to keep that record, even though it's a second pressing, and just look for an upgrade. But I think there should be, a rebate. So I have to go back and forth with that guy. He seems like a nice guy, so I don't want to hardball him too much, but yeah. Okay, and then this one, I got a couple records from another guy. This is an upgrade for me. This is Mingus. My copy of this is a second pressing stereo, and it's in only VG condition. Maybe, I would say VG, but it's a little noisy because of that. Because Impulse doesn't have, I think, the most hardy vinyl to begin with. So a VG Blue Note can sometimes sound great, but a VG Impulse, in my experience, doesn't sound as good. So anyway, mine's a stereo second pressing. This is a mono first pressing in, I would say, VG Plus to near mint condition. So this is an upgrade, both earlier pressing for me and better condition. Now again, my understanding from reading the stuff on the internet is that Impulse Mono is really just fold it down stereo. So I'm not too worried about mono versus stereo. If I want it in, it's that one's mono, but I wouldn't pay extra for mono because I could just fold down the stereo. Okay, so I've been thinking about the following for a while, wondering if I should take the dive, and then an opportunity kind of popped up on eBay. A guy was selling a bunch of these. So essentially, I don't know if any of you guys have gotten into them, but I've been thinking about trying to grab up 78s. Because all things equal, they seem to be a pretty good deal sometimes. Of course, they don't sound as good as I think the problem, especially if they're not well taken care of. So, since I'm a Blue Note fanatic, a natural first place for me to start was Blue Note 78s. So, a guy was selling 24 Blue Notes on eBay, all for like $20 each, which isn't like, that's not pennies, right? That's still real money, but these are super, super rare versions of these 78s. So I grabbed every monk I could that he had. So this one's the Thelonious Monk Quintet, Blue Note 548A. So these are all shellac 78s, deep groove, which is why I think the LPs had deep groove, because these did. And what really sold me, and I don't know if you can tell, these are all, he listed them as new. Like, I don't know if that's just saying like new, if that's the 78 equivalent of near mint or mint, but compared to any other 78 I've ever seen in my life, like just at record shops when I see them, these are in pristine shape. In fact, this copy of, this is the worst one, and he rated this as like, I think VG plus, but it looks unplayed. And it's just got In Walked Bud and Epistrophe. So that's the first one I saw, and that's what the first one I grabbed. He had a bunch of Blue Notes. He still has Prestiges and Dials and Savoys. He still has other labels, but I can't buy everything. So if you guys want to grab some 78s, I can tell you who to look for. But I got that one. I got 1602, which must be a later one. So I almost wonder if this one can be played with a normal with a normal mono cartridge, but I'm not going to try. This is Let's Cool One with Skippy. This has Kenny Dorham, Lou Donaldson, Max Roach, Lucky Thompson, Nelson Boyd, and Monk. So you get some crazy lineups on these dates, right? Mostly I got Monks, but I also grabbed Bud Powell. This is Bud Powell, Sure Thing. And the reason I got this one is because it's got Collard Greens and Black Eyed Peas. So if you guys don't know that song, I remember the first time I heard it, because when I was in high school, I used to be really into the Violent Femmes, and I even went and saw them live a couple of times. And they ripped the melody or the bass line, the main theme of Blister in the Sun. They just ripped it from that song. It sounds really similar. And I think if you look it up, they even have admitted that. So that's kind of cool. It made me think man, if you were in a band and you were into jazz, you could really go in there and just grab a lot of melodies and a lot of themes. This one is 543A. This is Roundabout Midnight. Backside, Well You Need It. Again, the people playing on these. Blakey's on this one. It's just, people, great artists or players on all of these. 4-in-1 with Straight No Chaser. That one I was really excited. Sahib Shahab, Blakey, McKibben. Yeah, it's different people on both sides on most of these. Criss Cross was the last one I grabbed. Criss Cross with Backside Aronal. I don't know how you say that. So I grabbed those 5, or 5 or 6. I thought I had 6. I must have left one over there. No, okay, I showed you 6. So yeah, I grabbed those 6 Blue Note 78s. I thought when I got them that my Denon 102 would play them because I thought it had a 1.2 mil conical tip on it, but it actually has only a 0.7 conical tip, which is way too small. Even a 1.2 would be pushing it, I think. You really want a 2 or 2.5 to play these. So that means I need to get a 78 cartridge. I don't want to spend too much money since I only have these 6. So I don't know if it'll be one of these things where I just sit on these and wait until I see if I accumulate a large enough 78 collection, or maybe I can find somebody to lend just for a few days a 78 cartridge, and I'll digitize these and archive them and listen to them that way. But I'm super happy to have them. I think they're really cool, and it's just amazing to see, these guys. I'm sure they recorded a bunch when they would get together, and then they would just kind of release them slowly over time. But I think maybe not this one. This is 1590, but it's the 500 series. Those were from 52 or 53, in the early 50s. So well before they were putting out the anthologies of these things on LP. And all things equal, when you look at what it costs to get Genius of Modern Music, it was actually cheaper to buy these from that guy and kind of create my own compilation called Genius of Modern Music Volume 3, Andy Glover version. So hopefully I get those spinning, and I'll digitize them and post them up here for people to check out and see what they sound like. I'm happy to get those. Okay, well, that's an update. I don't know what the next one will be. I'm sure, I know that there are dozens of other records that I haven't talked about on here I've been doing a lot more on Instagram. I know some of you guys are doing stuff on Instagram. If you're not on there, check it out. My name on there is all one word, my Maine Coon, after my cat, that you guys have now seen. I post on there every day or so, whatever I'm listening to. All right. See you guys.